Hello, 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 hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are watching this broadcast and if you're watching the replay of the broadcast. This is Lene Javette with Melanated Air. For the next 1 hour, we will be filling your airways with melanin conversation. Today, we're talking about the strong Black woman. I'm not talking about this by myself. As you can see, two of my beautiful co-hosts are here. We have Teddy at the Real Teddy Talks, tuning in from Egypt. They use all the letters. We have Keisha Kavanaugh here at We Inspire Brand, and she is in my neighborhood. She's in Arizona right now,
Yes, I
visiting
am.
So, in the background, we saw this conversation that Taraji P. Henson was having about the strong Black woman, and we've kind of touched on this topic a little bit here and there. I wanted to name this, hey Deja B1 family. I wanted to name this live, Are Black Women Choking on Being Strong? But Teddy, being so articulate, came up with a better name and said, you is strong, you is angry, you is magic, which really, which I think is better, right? Black women have this stereotype of being strong but angry, and now we've added magic on the back end, and it's a good conversation to have. So if you are just tuning in, say hi, say what's up, say if this is your first time catching us, let us know if you've been here before, and tell us what you think about the strong Black woman. Is it hurting us? Is it helping us? Is it useful? Right? I put up a post on my Facebook page this week that said, it was my last post, and it basically says, I'm trying to pull it up so I can read it to you guys. It says, these strong women, they don't need a man, must not have a back pain, and need a massage in the middle of the day. I'm officially adding good massage to the list of what I'm looking for in a man. Sorry, not sorry, dead serious. Hope he's reading this. And which is why I feel like sometimes we're struggling on the strong Black woman narrative. I don't need a man. Yeah. But that's just one area.
Right.
We have to be the strong Black woman at work. We have to be the strong Black woman as a single mom. We got to be the strong Black woman in relationships. You see my toolkit right here, right? Because I'm being the strong. I'm gonna show y'all. I'm literally trying to get this hung up in my house. So that's my toolbox over there because I'm working on my office. So we're always having to be strong all the time.
You need a handyman. That's what you need,
Right.
a handyman.
Let me tell you, I got a whole toolbox, like a whole toolbox, okay? Because you gotta get done around this house.
You're right.
So how do you feel? How do you guys feel about the strong Black woman narrative?
I don't like it.
I definitely feel like it is overused, abused, and it's become something like a moniker that Black women are hanging on for some strange reason. Like, I don't know why you need to be strong. I don't ever hear this white woman say, I'm a strong white woman. You know what I mean? It's like, unless they're trying to mimic us, they're trying to mock us or make fun or pick fun, you know? And I just think that strength and beauty come without being said. I don't need to tell you that. And I don't need to chant it. I don't need it to be the thing I'm known for. I should exude that, just like intelligence. I don't need to tell you I'm smart. You should see that I'm smart. So it's evident. And we kind of cling to these things culturally, and we don't know who started that. I don't know who came up with that strong Black woman thing. Like, I would like to find the genesis of it, right? And go back and see if it was even us that came up with that phrase, right? Because I want to be delicate. I always say I'm a delicate flower. Like, I can fight, I can hang up things. I know how to use a leveler, a hammer, a drill, like all that, but I don't like to do that unless I just want a project, right? I don't want to have to do it. And that's in life, business, all that. So I think there's nothing wrong with being strong, but I don't need to tell you that. You should see it. You can see my muscles and you can see me being strong. I don't need to tell you about it.
Yeah. Melissa used your words, Teddy. She says, overrated. I'm not your superwoman.
Yeah, I did. I'm not your superwoman. Karen White. It's still in my head. It's still in my head. Oh, no. Like, that's it.
That's right. But I love that you said that, Teddy. Like, a few things. Like, yes, we are delicate flowers, right? We are women. We are feminine. We are goddesses. So this narrative that it's like we have to be strong. And you're right, it's like who started that? Like, where was the genesis of that? And I wouldn't be surprised if it was just dropped in our community like everything else, and then stepped back and then allowed us to like kind of like that snowball effect, like, and then it blows up and it's just like whatever. So I'm thinking that's probably what happened, right? Because if you think about the history, you think about like the crack epidemic, and you think about mass incarceration and how they were taking the men out of our homes so that we had to fend for ourselves, so that we had to do everything. We had to become the woman and the man of the house. So even if the narrative, or not the narrative, or if the word wasn't, oh, you're a strong Black woman, right? Like society, white supremacy, the system made us that way. And they wanted it that way so that we would feel that we wouldn't need a man, so they created the strong Black woman, right? Like, oh, you don't need that man in order to tear us apart. Right. So I think even if they didn't come up with the wording, the system created this strong Black woman.
Yes. And
it's biting us. So I agree with what you're saying, right? The system did create the strong Black woman narrative because we had to be strong. We had to step up and be strong. Like, so that narrative was created. But then I think it has taken, it's biting us in the butt, right? Because now we're so strong that we feel like, and I use we, not I or me, and I'm not pointing the finger at anyone in particular, I'm just talking about the narrative, is that we're so strong we can do it by ourselves. We've been doing it by ourselves. We can take care of everything by ourselves. We don't need anybody else. We can do it by ourselves. And how do you be strong? Because you have to be, but soft and a delicate flower, like Teddy says, so that you don't come off as angry. And here's the thing. Do you have a right to be angry? Hell yes. We are Black women. We have a right to be angry in this world, in society, on our jobs. We do. But we also have a right to be respected, a right to be loved, a right to be considered, a right to have a handyman come and put up the thing that's supposed to go back there, my shelf. Like, we still have those rights and want those things as well. Oh, come on, Madam President, I see you, boo. But we still have that right as well. And I think when you, I went to church one time. I'm gonna try to make this a quick story. I went to church one time, and it was Father's Day. This is actually the church sermon that helped me and my father rebuild our relationship. And the minister was talking about, how do you raise vulnerable women that know how to be delicate? And most young girls have been raised by strong women, and they've only seen strong women. So if you have girls that are being raised by strong women and they only see strong women, how do you then teach them to be delicate and vulnerable? And he was talking about the role that a father plays and how to let your father in. And I won't go into the specifics, but it hit me like, damn, because I am the product. My grandmother had 5 girls, and all her girls had girls. I don't have any on my mom's side. No male cousins, no uncles. A tribe of women raising women. And now all of us in my generation, we all have sons.
Wow.
Yep.
We've already been raised to be strong. So sometimes me and my son are battling on me being the strong woman and him wanting to be a strong man and be who he's supposed to be. And now we're battling. And so I find myself sometimes having the same battle with him that I have with men from that strong sense. And so I had to self-reflect and self-medicate, maybe self-prescribe myself to be, like Teddy says, a delicate flower, so that I can be soft, so that I can be vulnerable, so that I can submit, so that I can be not strong all the time. But it has to be intentional. It doesn't come natural.
Can I just say, because I know Madam President, I know you want to jump in, but can I just say, Lene, I was going to say that as well, as far as us being raised by strong women. So we said, oh, our grandmother did it on her own, so I could do it on my own. My mother did it on her own, so I can do it on my own. But just because you can do it on your own, that doesn't mean you should.
It doesn't mean you should. It doesn't mean you want to.
It doesn't mean you want to or have to.
Yeah,
absolutely. Madam President, I'm gonna let you get in. I just want to answer this question for we got real quick. She says, "Is anyone married on this panel?" Yes, is married on the panel. Keisha Ravenel is on her way to being married. I'll be married next year. I don't have a husband yet, but it's coming.
Come on to existence.
There you go.
He on his way.
Before the All Black National Convention, I was going around saying, I'm going to be engaged next year. I'm telling you. I'm waiting on it, but I know it's going to happen.
He's my motivation. I'm speaking him into existence. All right, Madam President, we're talking about strong Black woman. We're talking about the narrative. What does it mean? How do you take it? What do you want to add to the conversation?
Y'all know I like this kind of talk right here. This speaks to my soul. First of all, what I like to say is the narrative of the strong Black woman is rooted in slavery. If you look on the auction block or how they used to advertise for selling slaves, they say she is strong. She's a strong wench. She could sew, she can cook, she can clean. But guess what? She can do this while pretending to be emotionally well. This is slavery. They didn't say she's sad. She's crying. We can strip her kids away from her. We can take her husband away from her, and she can still survive. This is problematic. This is a problem. There is a new narrative that has to happen, because what I believe the strong Black woman narrative is, we've taken that on because we're not really focusing on how it was put on us, how it was placed on us. It's kind of like, it's all, I don't know if you all ever watched The Devil Wears, Lord, not The Devil Wears Prada. That's not the one. But The Devil's Advocate. The Devil. That's an old school movie, but it was something about how he was planting seeds all over people's mind. That's what the devil does. So we've taken on this I'm a strong Black woman, right? Meaning that we can endure all the injustices that America has placed on us, and that's a problem. I am not strong enough to take the longer sentence. I am not strong enough to literally clock in, stay longer, and get paid the least. I am not strong enough to bear all of the trauma that America has placed on us and think that I can do it with a fucking smile. That's a problem.
That is a problem.
I really feel like that they have the tendency to put these burdens on us, and then we wear it like a badge of honor. As a woman who has had to embody this same ideology, and as you try to strip yourself from these things, right? Because this ain't easy. We all a part of this society. We all a part of functioning in this mess, right? But the hard and the most difficult part is when you come to terms with what's going on. That's what they say. Sometimes being woke is scary. It's like, ooh, you like, oh my God, I can't even go to the cookout. They don't even want me there because we're going to stop. We're going to turn this damn music off and we're going to get real. Okay. So the one thing that I just really want us to identify with is like how what you can endure does not mean that it should be tolerated. So sometimes we think that we're so strong that we can tolerate everything, and they're using it against us, and it's not for our benefit. Let me tell you something. As a woman who has basically, I just want to say, as a woman who has had a girlfriend, there is never a time that a woman can replace a man. The identity of a man, the touch of a man, a woman can't do that. Okay, I don't care what they say. But what I really want to also mention is, and I want you guys to chime in, because I want you to identify how society has given us the strong Black woman narrative while they're constantly trying to feminize our men. For some reason, the man, he needs to be softer. He needs to be more feminine. He needs to be more of something else. Meanwhile, we the strong ones. I said we the strong one. She can handle it. She can bear it. Nah,
Ooh, you done said a word, Madam
I'm
President. You
preaching.
done hit on all kind of points.
Tuna says she's preaching.
She
Dominique,
is.
and we talked about this last week. Dominique said, "Is there a smoke detector going off?"
I don't hear it.
Madam President don't hear that smoke detector. We all hear it, but she don't hear it.
Don't
Yo,
hear it.
not
She don't
hear
hear
it.
it.
Oh
She
my
don't hear it, y'all.
I'm sorry, y'all.
Top World TV says it's you are magic, not you is magic. Shaking my head. We are ebonically correct over here. We like
We all agree. World, there was a connotation of that to a movie. You
yes,
probably
there is a
didn't see the
time and a
movie,
place
but
for
that's how
R.
we
This
do
is
it.
not it. Today is okay. Today you is. All right. Thank you kindly. We know proper English, but today we talking in isms.
Isms, yes.
Shauna says, I think me and Madam President is related.
What's up, cousin? What's up, cuz?
You hit it, honey. You hit it.
Amenhotep says, if y'all strong, then the man must be weak. That's not true. That's the narrative that they want you to believe. The narrative is that Black women are so strong that they don't need Black men. And unfortunately, there's a lot of women that believe that hype. Father God, thank you that I'm not one of those women anymore. Yeah. But that's not true. And that's why I say Black women are going to choke on being strong, because you are not stronger than a man. You are not so strong that you do not need a man. Black men are not weak. But it's unfortunate that we've been not all we've been seeing. It's unfortunate that it has been fed to us that Black women are stronger than Black men. It's unfortunate that it's been fed to us that Black women can do this life by themselves. It's unfortunate that Black men have been taken out of the home to cause Black women to have to be stronger than they need to be. These things are unfortunate things that somehow got turned into a badge of honor. Sis, don't be happy that you have all this strength to carry the weight of the world. That's not how it's supposed to be. You should not have to carry the weight of the world. That's not cool. So we're walking around with this strong badge of honor, emotionally broken, wanting to be in a relationship, wanting to be paid what we're supposed to be paid, wanting to speak. We're literally choking on being strong. Literally. And that's not good. That's not right. That's not how it should be. And Black men are not.
I said it, I just said, and it's not natural. So it's not natural for the woman to take on the man role and to be strong and masculine. It's not natural for the man to take on the woman role and be weak. It's not natural, and they know that.
Yes. I mean, imagine being on a cruise ship where you can still see the shore, but you're way far, and some white man come and throw you off the ship, and the ship sails away, and you make your way back to shore. And you're not a good swimmer, you're tired, you half dead, but you make it back. Then as soon as you get to shore, someone says, wow, you're a strong swimmer. Then they want you to start identifying with being a strong swimmer when all you did was survive.
Yes.
And we cannot confuse survival because you made it, because you did the damn thing, with something that you need to wear as this badge on your shirt. Because then you'll be known for being a strong swimmer, and no one will ever blame the person that just threw you off the boat and almost killed you. You forgot about that part, because now you've taken on this thing. Well, I am a strong swimmer. Now I'm going to start doing triathlons and all that. Look, that's not why you're doing this. So we have to take it back. Again, as we've said, who gave us that title? And then ask yourself, do you even want it? Do you want that title? I'd rather be delicate. I'd rather be sexy. I'd rather be fabulous. There are a lot of other things I'd rather be than strong. Because when you think of me, I don't want you to think of a workhorse. I want you to think of a beautiful woman who's got lines and she's sexy and she can do things and she's smart. I don't want you imagining muscles and me lifting weights and, throwing a hammer or something. That's not the picture that I want to create, and words matter. So yes, we're strong, but we're strong out of consequence, not strong out of desire, right? Strength and survival, not the same thing. Not the same thing.
Yes.
Strength and survival, not the same thing. Want and need are different too. Wanting to be strong and needing to be strong, two different things.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
But I saw a comment over here, and I wanted to talk about it. Oh, first of all, I wanted to give a shout out to Conscious Light Seeker, who said our brothers is our
yes.
kindly throwing that is in there.
Mm-hmm.
There it is. It was from Dennis Spraggins. It's about finding the divine masculine and the divine feminine in balance with self, then seek outwardly. And I think that that's very true. I think that as Black women, we do have to have an essence of strength. Like you just do, whether you want to or not, you have to. Our Black men, our children are being killed on the streets without any regards. We're we are the most disrespected human being walking the earth. Like we have to be strong. But what we also have to do is find a place to be vulnerable with the human that looks like us, right? With the Black men that look like us who are also experiencing some of these same traumas in life, right? We don't have to be strong with them. And there's this barrier that has been created through society that keeps us from being able to engage and communicate and talk and be vulnerable with each other. And that's where that strong Black woman piece comes in and sometimes chokes us on, well, I can do this by myself. I've been doing this by myself. The other thing is, going back to the comment I made earlier, if you have not seen a woman properly engage with a Black man, or if you haven't seen a man and a woman get along through marriage, if you were raised in a household without a man, or if your father wasn't there, that stuff plays out in adulthood. Which is why, and I know we said this before, therapy is super important. Like if you recognize that you have issues within yourself, if you recognize that you're being too strong or that you're not communicating properly, and this is for men and or women. I'm not pointing my fingers at Black women. This is a Black man and or a Black woman thing because we have a lot of trauma on us. We have a lot of generational curses on us. I cannot say enough about therapy. I used to be one of those people that was like, nah, man, I'm not about to go up here and sit with this white lady and tell her all my business. But what I did do is find me a Black woman who I can sit up here and tell my business to, who can relate to me. And she gets me right every time I go in there. I can say the things that I'm afraid to say out loud. I can say the things that I don't really want to say to somebody else. I can clear the things that are in my heart. I can cry about the stuff that I've been holding on to for years because I thought they made me soft. And they allow my strength to be, I don't know how to explain it. It's like you can be strong, but you can be vulnerable. Like the weight, what I'm carrying hasn't gotten lighter, but how I carry it has changed, if that makes sense.
It does.
But there's also strength and vulnerability and submission. And I feel that people don't look at it that way. They see strength as like, oh, you have to take care of everything. But being strong is not just that. You know, you have to be mentally strong, emotionally strong in order to allow yourself to be vulnerable, in order to allow yourself to be submissive, you know, to that masculine man, you know, in order to allow yourself to go to therapy. You know, I feel like there's a beautiful strength in that. So why don't we talk about those things?
I just also want to say that I think I heard Farrakhan say this. I went to what is the thing that he does annually? He used to do it. I don't think he does it the same anymore. And I just heard it this time, guys. But I want to say that Saber's Day. So basically, he talked about God being of woman and man, when strong enough to rule and soft enough to care, right? And the power that I believe that happens, it's both of us. You know, sometimes we need to be submissive to vulnerability, but it's just not women, it's men too. Because in order for a woman to trust a man, she has to trust him. Also, she has to, and then we have like these unhealthy like you say, Lene, in our lives that like if we didn't see it, we didn't see healthy love. So how can we mimic it? How can we act like healthy love if we've never, you know, had the opportunity to witness it? Even on a brotherly, sisterly level, you see men who sometimes cannot be kind to a woman unless he has a sexual attraction to her. That's deranged. That's insane, because even if you don't want her romantically, you should be seeing her sisterly. You should be seeing her, you know, as a distant cousin, and you should be seeing her from a place of, you know, that I am still my sister's keeper, even if I don't want her romantically. But that's like we live in a la la land, in a fairy tale world, when we have that kind of expectation of ourselves as well as one another. We are not the enemy. The black man and the black woman are not enemy towards one another. The only enemy that we have is the enemy of white supremacy and the infrastructure all about it.
Definitely. And, you know, I think what this conversation really brings up, and we've said it, is what happens to the black man when the black woman is strong? When that is your, or black girl magic or anything, it's like, where does the black man fit into this? Like, if we're each other's yin and yang, and I fully believe we are, and we're a team and we're in unison, and the masculine and the feminine are together as one, then we keep making it about ourselves, and we're letting other people make it about just us. Mm-hmm. And then that puts us on an island by ourselves, even from our own black men, because there are black men that are aversion to a woman that's too strong physically, psychologically. She's doing too much, because it goes against your being, your natural desires. And we're not some wild stallion that needs breaking. Like, a man may not want to break you. He may not want to go through that, right? And you may say, well, if he loves me, he will. Maybe not, because it might not be good energy, you know, and he don't want to enter that situation with that bad energy. So in this, you as strong, you as angry, you as magic, where is our black man? Where can they fit in that statement? Can they fit in? Are we going to let them in, you know?
I think you made some really good points. I'm going to read this message from Bobby Poe. It was long. I read it while I was on the screen, but I'm going to bring it up again. It says, mass incarceration of the black man. And this is the role that has been placed and accepted by our women through their own independence and emotionally, whether it be from the man being no good and leaving her to raise her family alone and have to support the family in his absence. The black woman is and had to be the mother of civilization, and has taught every other civilization of women to be civilized since the beginning of time during the Middle Passage through drug addiction of her mate, NM. I love that y'all are using ebonics during this conversation. Sometimes the conversation requires an is instead of an are, but I think you're right. You know, society has positioned the black man to be our enemy, and we have allowed it. Not all of us, like most of us on this broadcast are B1, so we have, you know, not everyone. I'm not trying to throw a blanket out there, but we have taken some of that hook, line, and sinker. To Teddy's point, where's the black man in that in this title? You are strong, or sorry, you is strong, you is angry, you is magic, and I think it's a perfect segue. We had to be strong because we had to be, and then we had to get angry because life dictated that we should be angry with what's happening. Mm-hmm. And now, if you see what's in society or what's being presented to us, it's you're magical. And why are we magical? What makes us magical? Because we made it through the things that we had to be strong, because we made it through the stuff that made us angry, and we're still shining. That's what then makes us magical, right?
Melanin popping the whole time, skin glowing, and you're dying inside, right? You're all off balance, energy all jacked up, but your skin is glowing because that's who we are. That's what melanin is.
Can I just respond to Ian Riot? He said, so white people are the enemy. And I don't know what he was commenting on. And I just want to say it's the system of white supremacy that is the enemy. So not just white people, but also Black people that contribute to the system of white supremacy. So we're not here saying like, oh, Black people are, well, we are gods. Like, let's not get it twisted. But we're not saying, oh, like Black people are perfect, and then like all Black people are perfect, and then all white people are the enemy. It is the system that we need to combat, the system of white supremacy. So I just wanted to make that clear.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Shonda said Team Melanin. Absolutely.
You know what? My husband and I were listening to all old school because we're in Egypt. So we don't have a radio station. So I don't get the Midnight Love and whatever that 7 o'clock time, you know, on the radio. And
Quiet Storm.
Right? We were listening to The Whispers, Jeffrey Osborne, Luther Vandross, my absolute favorite. Yeah. And I was just shaking my head thinking about how music isn't like this anymore. And I'm not one of those people that are stuck in the past, I promise you. But I grew up singing about and hearing love through music. Love. I forget what song, maybe it was the Whispers. He said something about, I'm gonna figure out how to turn you on or something. Like, it was all about pleasure and this desire to seek and make the woman happy and get her and love her. Now, there was some mistress and, cheating songs too. I'm not pretending like it wasn't, but it was love. It was so much love. And even though I grew up in a broken home, my parents were divorced, and I really didn't get to see a good marriage, I grew up on those songs. So when I met my husband, I just wanted to be the song. I'm like, I don't know how we can make this work, but I'm in love with you, you're in love with me, and I'm going to live my life like I heard in the Whispers. This is me. And when it feels off, then we're going to work through it, right? Because I didn't see it. I don't know what it looks like, but I heard it and I sung it my whole life. I know all these songs word for word for word. I know the melody when I hear the first note. So that is how I'm going to live my life in unison with him. And they don't do this anymore. This music isn't like this anymore because they want to keep destroying it. They want to destroy us. They don't want love. And I'm saying the powers that be, the people that control what songs you hear on the radio, even the Black radio station. Nobody sings about love, like the pursuit of happiness and love. No one sings about it, and we can't let that go. And I feel so sorry for the what do they call them? The undercover artists and basement artists that have to kind of come up from the bottom and they just bubble up a little and they have a following, but they're not mainstream because they're not getting played on the radio and the big record companies don't want them, but they're singing about love and they're singing about what we need to be hearing about to get our energy going and our chakras aligned so that we can live in love. That's it.
Alexa, this may go against the grain. Love songs are cool, but can keep people in a state of euphoria.
Take me back to that euphoria. When I'm saying,
I love it.
Make it love.
Also, I feel like when you go to white stations, they're playing love songs. They're playing those songs, where the guy is still trying to court the girl and the girl is still loving the guy. And then when you go over to Black stations or hip hop stations, it's that B ain't this, that B ain't that. I hit it with this and I hit it with that. And it's like, okay, so we don't got no love around here.
None. There is none.
Trying to finesse. I mean, like, come on now, different things like that. But I do believe culturally, and this is the problem though, because we've allowed them to select our highest paid artists. And, white children still having a hand in Black culture. Because when you go to those concerts, it's white kids at those hip hop concerts. It ain't us. We ain't giving them money.
Paying for that.
Right. Yeah. So it's like, it's definitely in the music, but I also think about too, the first relationship that everybody has is with their parents. So if you have Black girls who are growing up fatherless, it's going to be difficult for them to even have an adjustment to men. And then if they don't see healthy men or healthy relationships around men, it may be a lifetime before she understands the dynamic of a man and a woman relationship and how to manage. Like I think the sister, Rashid, she's been doing this for many, many years, but she basically talked about how just going around, she says some of y'all women don't even know what to do when a man come over to the house. You don't even know how to submit. You don't know how to make his plate, nothing. You just fight and argue. You just don't even know what to do with the company of a man. And it's so true. But men too have to understand what to do with the company of a woman. See, once we come to the understanding that we're not the enemy and we be coming together and say, hey, I know you ain't grow up with the best mom and I know you ain't grow up with a father, but I feel like that could be some love right here. Right. Can we go on this journey of love together? Are you interested? Because you got a world outside. And let me tell you how they messed us up so bad. And I know I'm jumping real quick. But the shit that's happening in our community is so deep that men don't even they don't even want to leave a legacy anymore. Men anymore. They used to be men. Men used to go crazy for a son. Men now have sons they ain't even talked to in 20 years. See that thing? That's why I won't write reparations, because that white supremacy is ruined generations.
Yeah.
Ruined generations. You have destroyed the mind of a people, and you can't fix that. It's just time to pay up.
Right.
Yes.
And we mentioned music, but it's also in movies. So me and my boo, we was watching Brown Sugar last night. And, we had a discussion about it, every so often. So at the end, if you guys saw that movie, he was asking her, he said, "Oh, when did you fall in hip hop? Fall in love with hip hop?" Right. And it's like, he wanted her to say it first instead of him taking the initiative, instead of him going for it, And then if you remember Queen Latifah and Mos Def characters, Mos Def was intimidated and he was scared. And it took her to say, "Do you want to go out with me?" Like this, the whole movie, you was liking, you know what I mean? Like, so why did it have to be like that? Both women had to speak up first. So I feel like that's a more subtle example, because we talk about the music, right? Where it's like, this B ain't that, and this hoe ain't that. And then, we talk about that, and that's more in your face. But what about those subtleties? Because I never even thought about that when it came to Brown Sugar. I saw that movie when I was like maybe 12 or 13 years old. And I'm like, this is a beautiful love story. But understanding that that's programming, right? That's telling the Black woman, like, oh yeah, you should go and pursue that Black man. And if, hey, that's your prerogative, do what you want. But typically it is the man that pursues the woman. But these movies are telling us, this music is telling us, hey, you're independent, you're strong, you should go and pursue, and that's not necessarily the case. Like I said, you can do it, but don't feel like you have to do it in order to get a man.
I feel like this episode needs a soundtrack. I was about to play INDEPE. Like, that's it. Like, we want to be so. I just want to hit play like if I'm the DJ. I don't know how to do that, but I wish I did.
It's funny,
right? One of my favorite phrases is, "It starts with a whisper," and that's anything. And I imagine things, they're always just very subtle. Just like you said, it's a subtle little thing, and you're vibing off the movie because you're vibing off the love in the movie, right, and the pursuit of love, that you don't see those little things that are placed in there, and it's going into your brain. You're 12. So now maybe you think you need to make the first move when you meet a dude and you're 16, 17, 18, and he's kind of being shy. Then you have to step in and play that role because you saw it on that movie and you don't even remember it. It was subliminal. Like, it was just so little that you didn't catch it. And that's why parents, Black family, Madam President, that's why the Black family has to be strong, so that you have a father who's teaching you what men do and how they do it and how to watch out for it. And a mother that's showing you who you need to be and how you need to do it. And no, you ain't going up to him. He can come up to you. Even though I did go up to my husband, y'all. I already admitted it. But my feet was hurting. I was ready to go. Like, I've been dancing all day. But I didn't feel like I had to. I felt like I was going to make that connection. Time was short. I needed to go do it, right? And left it at that. But I didn't feel obligated to do it. I feel like it was my role. It was just something that happened.
It was that man. You don't go up to that man. Absolutely. That man. So you know what? I'm going to ask. We got more than a few brothers in the broadcast today. So I'm going to ask this question, brothers. How would you feel? Because we talk about being strong Black women, but a lot of times it's in a negative connotation, right? We have to be strong in these areas. But Teddy brought up a good point, and so did Keisha, about old school rules versus how people operate today. Brothers, how would you feel if a woman was walking out the room or leaving, or she's moving on, she notices you and she comes up to you and introduces herself? Is that old school? Is that okay? Is that too strong? Is that pushing? Let me know in the comments. Bobby Poe says a lot of men, especially a lot of today's empowered women, men are not willing to go into the arena of being rejected and shot down by today's woman that places so much emphasis on a man's finances, occupation, and appearance. I think what he's saying is men don't want to be rejected.
Right.
And so that's why they aren't stepping to women today currently. I think that's what he's saying right there. So then does that put it on the woman to be the pursuer? Like, if I'm trying to figure out, let me look through these comments.
you know, men, I feel like a lot of times men don't want to pursue women because it does take emotional courage to pursue a woman. And if you're not, and this is just personality, and we have to understand that personality is different from character. Some people can be very talkative. It doesn't mean that they're very honest. So you may meet a person, a guy, he can be talking you out of everything you got. Doesn't mean that he's an honest guy. Then you have a guy who can be very just not the same with words. He can be more subtle, don't speak as much, don't speak as loud, but he can be very honest. So sometimes we do have to give people an opportunity to see their character a little bit. And what men don't have to understand is, you know, you got to shoot your shot. You should be stepping to a woman. You shouldn't be talking about, you know, the courage. If you want the woman, you got to step to her, because I think women we are being basically put into a mode of survival. So we're stepping up to everything. We're stepping up to the job. We're stepping up to, you know, therapy. We just showing up and showing out because we don't have anyone to save us. And so that's when men have to step in and say, hey, you don't have to do all this alone. I'm here for you. I'm here with you. And regardless if it's uncomfortable or not, it's getting comfortable with stepping to women. I think that, you know, that's just how you got to do that. I don't think there's any way around it. A man who has to get comfortable approaching a woman, and yes, he can get rejected, and that doesn't mean anything. You approach the next one with the same capacity.
Right. That's what I was gonna say. Rejection that's a part of life. You know, you get rejected when you approach women. You get rejected from jobs. Like you get rejected in business. Rejection is a part of life. So you can't say that Black men, they don't want to approach Black women because they're afraid of rejection. I don't know. I think that's a little bit of a cop out. I don't remember who said that. I think it was Bobby Poe. And I'm sorry if it wasn't you, but I feel like that's a little bit of a cop out. And I just feel that a masculine, confident Black man, he understands that rejection is a part of life. So if he sees something that he wants, he's going to pursue that because his confidence says, I'm going to go after it. I know who I am. I know what I can bring to the table. And if she doesn't want to get with it, then I'm going to find somebody else that who does want to be with it, you know? So I think rejection is just, it's a part of the process, a part of the dance, like someone said.
And what would you lose? Like when I walked up to him, if he wasn't interested, I would have went on home like I was going to anyway. Like it doesn't, I guess there's embarrassment, but I don't know. I don't get with that. Like, I can't get with that. Like, this is not life. This isn't livelihood. This isn't your paycheck. Like, you're not losing anything tangible. And your ego shouldn't even be in there because you shot your shot. When they say shoot your shot, like, you got to shoot your shot. And, you know, Lene, I was thinking about you and you said you grew up, you had generations of women ahead of you. So if you have a house full of women and you're taking the trash out because there's only women in the house, right? So you get into a house with a man, you might go for that trash because the trash bag is full. And if he's not strong enough or he didn't grow up in a household where he knows it's his responsibility, and I'm just going to say that, y'all can at me in the comments, then he's going to let you take the trash out. So y'all have to know, like he has to tell you like, look, I know you can, but you don't, right? So it's so much responsibility on both parties. And you're doing it because you've done it. You've always done it. And there was no one else to do it. So how do you relinquish that control if you're not in the house with a man who's willing to say, hey, baby, no, not while I'm here, you ain't taking the trash out. Now I'm at work or something, you can, right? So that's just a lot of recovery. Reparations, baby. It's a lot of recovery we have to go through to strengthen the Black family again.
And I think I'm reading the comments. I'm looking at the comments. The comments are going crazy, and you guys are saying some good stuff. One of the themes I'm seeing over here in the comments is that women have to, Black men are saying we want to, but it's hard. And I'm going to get to that in a second. But damn it, I lost my thought. I wanted to stick with the trash analogy. Recovery. That's what you said. I've been blessed to date good Black men who have taught me along the way, which is why I'm not how I used to be. I used to be very strong in that way where I had to be, you know, whatever the case might be. But I have dated good men that was like, you are not speaking to the king in me. And I would be like, oh, that's my bad. Okay. Like, hold on, baby girl, calm it down. Or I know you're not about to touch that door. I'm like, I touch the door all the time. Not a big deal. It is a big deal. Okay, my bad. So over the years, I have grown, I have softened. Let the man get the door, let the man take out the trash. He leaves. Da, 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 da. But that's because I've dealt with those type of men that was like, nah. And so now at 45, I'm in a place where I'm like, I get it. I can be strong. I can be me. I can be who I am. But I also want to be feminine and woman and have a man that leads and have a man that knows how to lead a family, take control, be the alpha, whatever the case might be. And it doesn't make me smaller. It doesn't make me shrink. It doesn't make me any less strong. It just allows me to walk in my femininity, in my strong strength as a woman, and still let him have his strong strength as a man.
Yes.
But you have to, what Teddy said, you have to have seen it. You have to be able to mimic it, or you have to have a man that's strong enough to be like, that's not how we get down. That's not how we roll. But to the comments over here, God, I wish there's so many. I can't go back and find it. Somebody was, I was like, I wish I could go back to the comment. But somebody was saying it's hard to approach a woman and her face looks crazy. I'm not mad at him for saying that. Like, so that comes with the us piece where we can't be
right.
Well, why is her face? I wouldn't approach a woman and her face looking crazy. If she ain't looking at you, welcoming you to approach her, I wouldn't approach her either. If she looking crazy, then she don't want you to approach her. And if that was just bad habits she learned, then she better unlearn them. It ain't your job to fix her face.
I mean, I guess if you want a person to approach you, you be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Right. And if you don't, you like, I know you're not about to come out here. Try not to make eye contact.
Oh, there's a good one.
I see another comment that's saying
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Keisha.
No, I was just going to mention Harry Bass. He stated how nasty people can be when they do reject you. But that says more about the woman than it says about you. So you're taking that personally when you really don't need to be taking it personally. Like, you did your job by stepping up and approaching the woman. If she is not accepting of that, and she can't accept that in a respectful manner, then that's a her problem. That's not a you problem. So my Black men, I don't want you to think that if you do get rejected in a nasty way that it's a you problem, because it's not. It's that particular woman, that particular Black woman that needs an attitude check. So it's her. Don't take it personally. Well, I know it's
not reflective of all women. It's just that woman, and maybe some of her friends. I don't know, but it just don't let that stop you. But Sweet Jones said, approaching a woman today can get you Me Too'd. The cost of a misinterpreted or unwanted approach is way higher today. And that's something I think that's a valid point, right? Is you could get someone who takes it, depending on how you approach them or how they're used to being approached, they could take it the wrong way and take it further than it needs to be. So I'm not going to dismiss that concern, because that definitely is valid. Actually, I think it was Boyce I was talking to the other day, and he said there were some women who grew up in a household with just women, and when they're in the house with a couple of men speaking in a deep voices scare them, right? Just psychologically, it's like, if you've not been in a house with a lot of men, then you're around a lot of men. The things they do may seem overwhelming or intimidating. And that's real. Like, someone, you complimenting someone and saying, wow, you look lovely today. And now they can take it as some, I've seen women like snap on a dude that came up to him and just said something nice and polite.
Nice,
and I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say about that, but I hope
we all got work to do.
Take a compliment. Yeah.
That's the thing. We all have work to do. It's not a Black woman issue. It's not a Black man issue. It's a community issue. Like, we all have work to do. Right. In various ways, in different ways. This strong Black woman thing affects both of us. It affects us as women because we buy into it. It affects how we relate to men, how we communicate with men, how we enter into relationship, which ultimately affects Black men. It affects Black men's desire to want to approach a Black woman, because he don't know how she gonna act and she gonna flip out. Like, the strong Black woman narrative, it affects us all. It affects our children. Like, it's the type of thing that it hurts us, but it hurts us as a community, not just Black women.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See, Harry Bass says, I appreciate all the love and kindness you ladies are giving us on this platform. Thank you. Stay blessed. You too, sir. You too, sir. Bobby Post says, true indeed. I'm so glad you ladies are addressing these issues that affect the universal family and are being open-minded. And that you have to be, because if we just sit here and be like, it's men's fault. It's not just men's fault. If we just be like, it's Black women's fault. It's not just Black women's fault.
Right.
Like it's no one person's fault. It's no one person's fault, but it affects all of us in a manner, in a way that we each need to work on it. Like I hope and pray that after listening to this conversation today, that the next man or woman that you engage with or you encounter that approaches you, just kind of take a step back and be like, you know what, she might be looking a little bit sour faced, but let me go over here and say hi, introduce myself to her, at least make her smile. And as a Black woman, maybe you soften your demeanor, like, you know what, let me see what he's talking about. Maybe he's talking about something. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like we both have to meet in the middle, right? You can be strong. I don't care what you say. Come for me in the comments. I don't care what you say. You cannot be so strong that you don't want a man. I didn't say need. I said want, because we know need. You know, I know people get caught up on need. I don't need somebody, man or woman. I'm not man or woman. I don't need them. I take care of myself. I'm happy. I'm whole. I pay my bills. I travel. I don't need them. I get that. I mean, we can all say we don't need somebody, but do you want somebody? Like, do you want to travel by yourself? Do you want to sleep alone at night? Do you want to crack your own back? Do you want to not have somebody to talk about your business plans with? Like, what do you want? I know what you say you need or don't need, but what do you want? And so the narrative that you're too strong to want a man, I just feel like people are lying.
You want 2 incomes in your one household. Like, these are things we want. Like, we need to grow. It's hard to grow. It is hard to grow by yourself. Even in your family, it'd be nice to have a team of other families that you can grow with. There are a lot of cultures. I know I'm getting to the finance side. I'm sorry, y'all. There are a lot of cultures who like have a crowdfunding amongst the families where each family puts in like $500. And then after a year, every month they give whatever that hunk is of money to a family. So if you each put in $500, maybe on the January 1st, you each get $5,000. And they use that money to put down payments on businesses, to buy things they need, to get a house, you know, and it's like, we're better together. So if you want to be by yourself, that's hard. That's hard. It'll be hard for you to get very far. And I think Keisha said it several times. What is it? You want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far,
go together. I'm about to say it again.
Someone said it a long time ago. I don't even know who it was. I can't give them credit, but they said interdependence. When I sang my song, interdependence. That is it. We need to be each other's yin and yang. We need to be dependent upon our Black man and our Black woman. You know, it has to be this way where we kind of we meet in the middle and find the energy. So one of you can't be stronger than the, like, you know, one strong and one weak. It really just needs to be a good balance. I'm
wondering if women saying I don't need a man is a defense mechanism, though. Like, not that they really believe it, right? But it's like they don't really believe that they can get a man at times. So they say, oh, I don't need a man. I could be by myself, you know? So that's what I'm thinking. Like, it's a defense mechanism.
Absolutely. Go ahead,
I was just saying, I think it's a defense mechanism because it's kind of like if you don't have something, you convince yourself you don't need it.
Right.
If you had a man, these things probably wouldn't be going off during my podcast recording. You know, I've been trying to get that the sound of the the light going on.
Or at least a man would have heard it and been like, girl, or a man, I'm sorry. Or at least a significant other will say, would have heard it and been like, we need to get that fire alarm fixed. You should not be, you know.
But a joke that I say with me and former partners, because I'm single, but a former partner, I would say, I don't know who's going to be the man about this, but somebody needs to take care of X, Y, and Z. So basically, I'm trying to highlight the role of a man cannot be substituted. It's important. Even if you're raising children and you don't have a father in the household, even if it's not, you need to get him or her around men too. That's going to be, you know, loving, etc. Also, I wanted to highlight, you never hear white women say, I'm a strong white woman. You never hear Asian women say, I'm a strong Asian woman. You never hear Latina women say, I'm a strong Latina woman. Because the narrative, they are clearly understanding of the value of the family. They are not more important than the family. But in our community, through white supremacy and slavery, the complete separatism is what keeps us in an individual place. I find it insane, even economically, thinking about my own family growing up, my grandmother having 4 children, right? My mother, my uncle, and my aunt, and my other 2 aunts, right? 4 of them. We all lived in the same house. Then my grandparents were renting, and then my mother, she moved out and she began to rent. My auntie moved out, she began to rent. My uncle began to rent. That means years and years of renting, 15, 20 years, starting with the grandparents, 20 years of renting. That's $1 million right there, just off rent. When you start calculating the rent from 10 years and 15 years and 20 years through a family, every bloodline have access to millions of dollars through what we have invested in rent. Half of us put together in the first place, right? So now think about this. Like, this is messing with our money. We all going into this now. This should be mind-boggling to some people. Y'all got a family of 6 and 7. All y'all leaving out the house, going to work. Y'all coming back home from work tired. Y'all ain't even came together. But guess what? You want to party on Friday night. You want to kick it on Saturday. You want to meet up, right? No, you insane. You're going to be doing this. You're going to birth kids that's going to be doing the same thing generation after generation after generation, because for some reason, they have tricked us into believing that the kicking it is a lot cooler than having the neighborhoods, than having the judicial system. That's what white supremacy got. They got the judicial system. They got the neighborhoods. They have the entire infrastructure of America. They have the construction. They have the streets. Meanwhile, we still talking about he need to buy me a bag. You don't want the neighborhood?
You want the neighborhood. You want some houses. Let me tell you, I was in Monterey, California. That's where I lived before I moved to Egypt. And I lived right outside of Monterey. It's a very expensive, like ungodly expensive place for no good reason other than it's on the ocean. So I was in a city called Seaside, and there's a huge Mexican population there. But these, we're talking like $600, $700, $800 million homes there, even though they're like 2 and 3 bedroom homes. Across the street from where we lived, there was a Mexican family. I kid you, it's probably maybe 1,500, 1,700 square feet. There had to be at least between the house and the RV, a nice RV in the back. I kid you not, there was like 10 or 12 people living in that house. Mm-hmm. And there was 3 trucks, dually trucks. There was $50,000 or $60,000 pickup trucks, all had the landscaping trailer on the back, all the equipment in there. And these dudes are leaving early in the morning, leaving out, coming back. They're all bringing money. And when one would leave, because we lived there for 3 years, when one would leave the home, they would go buy a home. And then maybe a couple of them would go with them. And then they would all live in that house, and they would do this constantly. So their money is always circulating in their household, and they are all building each other up. They have businesses. They're putting it back in the household. Then they leave the household and go build another household. And that is how they were able to amass wealth, how they can buy multiple homes in a neighborhood that are almost $1 million homes. And it's kept in their families. I'm not saying that you have to live 10 deep, even though a lot of people are doing that. But just as Madam President said, we have to bring that together. Why are several adults living in a home and it ain't a purchased home? Like, who y'all don't have nothing. If you're renting, you don't have nothing. So you eventually have to build and grow together as adults. And we have to help each other become adults and do things, but it's hard when you didn't see it growing up. It's hard when no one ever owned a home in your house. How do you know that that's what I need to do? That sometimes owning my mortgage is going to be cheaper than the rent I was paying. Nobody knows that unless someone tells you that. Yeah. Or you see it somewhere. So each one teach one.
Take me to your leader. I don't know if you're still on here or not, but I want to post your question. It says, is this panel married? My husband was asking. And I want to ask this question. So first of all, Teddy is married. She's been married for 13 years. Keisha is in a new situation that's leading to marriage. The question I want to ask, because this is the second time it was asked, is how does marriage influence the conversation? That's
Yeah.
what I want to know.
I was thinking that.
Yeah. So I want to, if somebody can answer that for me. And then I wanted to go back to, God, I was looking for your comment. Lady V. Walls. Society tells Black men don't choose Black women. No Black babies, especially 100% Black babies. It wasn't that comment that she made. This is the one, sorry. Being in a relationship with Black women is out of the ordinary nowadays. Is that true?
I think they're pushing that. I don't know if it's true though. I think that's something that they're pushing. I see a lot of Black love, and I could be wrong. You know, maybe it's because of who I surround myself with in my circle and what I consume, because I don't consume the other stuff. Like I consume the Black love. I surround myself with Black love. So I don't know statistically if that's true, but I think that's just something that they're pushing.
Okay.
You're muted, Madam President.
And let me say that I think it can be location too. I'll say that.
Yeah, location.
Yeah, I live in Arizona. I live in Phoenix, Arizona, and this is the capital of white women and Black men.
Yeah, it's a lot out here. I was like,
I think sometimes that conversation is based on where you live. If you're in DC, I don't think that's a problem. If you're in Atlanta, I don't think that's a problem. Houston,
New York,
Dallas, you know what I'm saying certain areas, man. Now maybe if you live in Utah, you know, again. So I think that's based on where you live.
What about what you see on television? What about mainstream? Our celebrities that we see all the time. I think a lot of them are in interracial relationship. I mean, that's if you fall prey to that hip hop culture and that BS. I mean, I'll tell you what, if I'm looking at a brother that I like on television because he looks good, and I come to find out he ain't got him a sister at home, or worse yet, he has somebody at home and it ain't a sister, I don't even fool with him. I won't watch his shows. I don't watch their movies. Like, I don't even do it because I'm like, I feel like whatever imaginary thing is going on in my head that makes me find that person attractive, if they don't come home to someone that looks like me, then that kills the whole imagination. You know what I mean? Like, I just can't support it. I can't support it. Mm-hmm. And that's where I stand.
Well, I think that I think Black men and Black women are still together at a very high rate. I think when it comes to celebrityism or class, which is just a lot of money, the higher the male gets when it comes to NBA, the more they are around white women, right? Mm-hmm. So when you think about NBA players and you think about the general managers, they have white nieces. When you think about the owners, they have white daughters. They go and get NBA players. Their friends are white. This is your whole class of people. Not to mention, in order to stay connected to Black people, you got to be around Black people. You got to hang around Black people. And what they've always done to anybody who had a level of Black genius or athleticism is, hey, come and join us. And the moment they come and join us, what they do is, oh, your mama and your sister can't come. Mm-hmm. Your cousin can't come. This is just for you. So you'll see your top celebrities, but you won't see them with a Black woman commonly if they have not met her before they got into the arena of that celebrity world.
Let me ask you, Madam President, me and my husband, I have racked my brain trying to figure this out. How do people like Eddie Murphy end up with a white woman? Mm-hmm. And I ask this because when I watch his stand-up, his movies, all from like the 80s on, I always say you're with people, like Black people and non-Black people are very different. Like a lot of non-Black people don't even get the joke, right? Like we have, all cultures have their internal jokes. So I would say most of his work, she probably don't get it. You know, I mean, I'm making a grand statement, but how can you go home every day to someone that doesn't get you? I don't understand.
This is the thing about, and I think Farrakhan and all the greats have taught about the thing of self-hate. Self-hate is not just, you know, how you dress up and you line your hair and how you go out and you create jokes. It's truly who you want to lay down with. Now, who will lay down with somebody that don't get them? Only
don't get them. Like you don't get the inside jokes.
Exactly. Not to mention that, you know, they pretty much, and I was kind of real sensitive about Jeezy because I felt like, now we've been a down ass bitch for how long, and all of a sudden he go and make the Asian woman the queen. You've been bumping hip hop, calling the black woman the bad bee. She banged you ride or die when you was a snow boy, and all of a sudden the Asian woman is the queen. Oh, I'm straightened up now. I'm different now. I got real estate now. Oh, I gotta have me a queen, and I've chosen an Asian woman. I've chosen a woman who can't even taste my mama greens with her fingers. You hear me? Like this is just like, maybe I'm just too soulful for this fake
I'm
stuff.
the same way.
Like, damn, like we literally was like the one who amped it up. We speaking your culture because culture is communication, it's language. It's language. We in the chats. We in the chat speaking the Ebonics, understanding each other clearly.
Every word.
Exactly.
Then guess what? When I start getting those deals and I start talking to these white executives and I start getting these fat checks, that's the first thing they do. I need to separate you from your people. You can't even go that way. You can't even do that no more. And everybody is welcoming to the black man, but the black man have to be strong enough to say, if my sister not invited, then therefore I'm not invited. If my mama can't come, how many folks you seen bring their mama to the Oscars? How many folks you seen? They say, hey, who you wearing? Beyonce knows the biggest name in the world. Let me tell you how they play us too. They put our black women on the front page of everything and say, this is the most powerful woman in the world. But no, she can't get nobody to arrest the cops who killed Breonna Taylor. We just letting you know she powerful so you can keep buying shit from us. But when it's time for the work, when it's time for the stuff that actually matter, we can't get no power. Come on, man. This is crazy. Sorry, guys. We was just off the air, and I just like
you better tell it, girl. You better keep it on.
Well, Hell's Nomad says, can someone explain the title of the stream to me? I think Madam President did just did a good job of it, but it says you was angry, you was magic. We're talking about the strength of the black woman. Is it good for us? Is it being used against us? Are we using our power properly? We have a right to be. We're forced to be strong because we have to. We're angry because of the civilization that we live in, but we are magical because we do it. We do carry it with grace, but should we have to? So that is the title. We do know that you are is proper English, but today we using you is. Okay, so just for those that are like, why does it say you is? Because that's how we wrote it. That's what we wanted to say. You is. We is. Right?
He is.
So that's
on purpose.
So that's what it is.
Yeah.
On that note, we are coming up. We are past the hour on the Melanated Air Hour. If this is your first time tuning in or catching us, we do this every Tuesday and Thursday at 2:00 p.m. Eastern. We do it live on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2:00 p.m. Eastern. You can catch us on, we're on like 8 different platforms right now. You can follow us on Melanated Air. You can also follow each one of us individually. As you can see, our handles are in our names. You can follow me at I am Lene Javette, Teddy Ewing, who is currently in Egypt at The Real Teddy Talks. Find Keisha Ravenel at We Inspire Brand and the Madam President at the #1 Madam President with a Z. Before we close out, I always try to, whenever I can, go around the room and get final thoughts. So we're going to do that today. Any final thoughts that you'd like to share with our audience before we go? We will start with Keisha today.
Man, I think we done said it all. Man, it was a great show today, ladies, and I want us to continue to have these conversations. It's important for us to have these conversations and continue to teach each other and encourage each other. Black men, I love you. You are wonderful. You are enough. Black women, I love you. We are magical as a Black community. We are so dope. And we're better together. So don't let this system continue to try to ruin us and pull us apart. It is our time to come together. So love you, family.
Yes. All right. Madam President.
Well, I just want to say that everything good, everything God created is of good. And that is Black men and Black women. Okay. And then comes this thing that tried to destroy us, this thing of slavery, this thing of white supremacy, this thing of Jim Crow, this thing of insecurity. Don't let the devil trick you out of your greatness. Love is always the best thing that God has implemented on the inside of us. We should be loving to one another. There is no substitute for the Black man, and there is no substitute for the Black woman.
All right. Teddy Ewing?
I just want to thank everyone, my co-panelists, as well as the audience. I mean, you guys have been keeping that energy alive, so thank you for that. And definitely, I mean, Black women, you is strong, you is angry, you is magical, and you cannot do it by yourself, all right? And you don't need to have some made up title, likely not made up by us, to hold it and throw it in someone's face. You do you, and you be the best you can be, and find someone that can help you be your best person, and that is a mate. And let's always focus on the Black family, because that's the only way that we can keep perpetuating and growing what our knowledge and what our wealth, you know, and building and growing. And we have to do that together. You cannot do it by yourself. You can't even have kids by yourself. Like, you cannot do it by yourself. It's physically impossible to do it by yourself. So we need someone else. We need a donor. We need a teammate. We need interdependence. We need something. So you have to be a team. Find your team, grow, build, and build generational wealth.
Yes, build that legacy. I'll close with just saying, I saw it in the comments, we need to hear it more. So I love you, sir. I love you, sis. I would just charge us all to go out in the streets, make eye contact. Don't divert eye contact when you pass by another Black man or a Black woman. Everybody ain't after your man or your woman. Like, just be more family, be more loving. Say hey, say hi. We don't speak enough on the streets. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know why that is. I don't know if that's a strength thing, right? You don't have to think you're going to be me too. Smile a little bit. Say, hey, hi, brother. How you doing? Hey, sis, how you doing? Politely, kindly. We're family, right? We are kings and queens. We all come from somewhere, from the same person from somewhere. We are cousins, right? And we have to live like that. Like, we talk about reparations and we talk about things that need to change and we talk about what's going on in the world. And the reality is the only people that are going to change our situation is us. Yeah. And it starts with us. It starts with little teeny tiny actions, friendliness, compliments, saying hello, playing your role, being divine and feminine as a woman, and being okay in that and your strength, but still letting a man be a man and divine and masculine and who he is. Okay. We have to let each other be who we are. Are. You know what I'm saying? So,
you is or you ain't.
I love you. Like, I love us. I love who we are. I love our energy. I love all of you that showed up today. We thank you. We ask that you continue to show up and to encourage us. We're going to keep having these kind of conversations for our community, because this dialogue and this communication is important. We need to hear each other. We need to listen to each other. So I just hope that you guys enjoyed our show today, and you could go out and continue to be blessed, stay Black, and be one.
Be one, baby.